I spent my whole life believing I could affect change just by imagining, by creating, by believing, by thinking, by willpower, by believing things into existence, by holding a thought or holding an idea and just holding the space for that to fill the space and to become and to crystallize. I really, really, truly believed that since I was a young child. And something happened to me a couple of years ago that was so far beyond my control and still is, that all of those beliefs and those notions were, it's not that they faded or they crumbled away, it's just that reality itself just presented itself as, okay, you think you can create reality? Well, I'm going to show you just how, not insignificant, but how like ignorant, or how, not ignorant, but how, I don't know what the word is. I'm not sure what the word is for that. But it's, reality has shown me that that which I believed I could create was so far out of my control that it was laughable. And like now, when I look around me and I see people, and many people all the time, talking about, you can do this and you can do that and we can manifest this and we can create that, and just listen to me and I'll tell you how to do this, and I know that this, and I got this message and I got this instruction and I know this, I know that. And it's like, that might work for you, and that might work for you right now, and it might work for you for a moment or in this moment, right? And that's kind of how I felt for a long time. And then this sort of, this the massive reality of like, I don't know how to explain it, but that we just are so small, and we, as the sort of individual like mind, the individual ego that thinks that it can do anything for itself, right? And all that which comes out of survival, and all that those good messages that get warped and get twisted through our minds to serve our own purposes on subtle levels. And for me, that has always come down to like, there are some inviolable things, like inviolable, if that's a word. I think that's in, isn't that in like the Constitution or the Declaration of Independence, or I don't know, inviolable truths? Anyway, there are some inviolable truths that we hold sacred, right? The life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, and those are such noble truths. And yet, life is death, and life and creation is destruction. And when it's our time to go, it's our time to go. And whether that's through murder, whether that's through war, whether that's through suicide, whether that's through illness or cancer or whatever, old age, it's really, as far as I can tell, not up to, I'm not going to speak for you, but it's not up to me, I don't think. I used to think it was. I used to believe it was. And it's that struggle that we all face, control. Can we control our impulses? Like the life-death impulse that's bigger than us all. And human civilization, all of it is about controlling and creating and shaping and manifesting. It's what we believe in, what we believe our minds are capable of. And there are people who will believe in, oh, there's an energy coming through me that's a spiritual energy, or that's a God energy, or that's, and we try to align ourselves with whatever feels the best, with whatever feels the most pure, or whatever, there's so many layers of refinement of that. And as soon as we believe in that, as soon as we believe, like, yes, it's important to have faith. It's essential. It's essential to have faith. And yes, if we've had a glimpse of awakening, we may believe that we know certain truths. And there's a wide array of that. There are some of them which seem so obvious and so self-evident, like compassion and do not harm, that life is sacred. Do no harm, right? That's that in and of itself is a sacred truth, that we think we know what that means. We think we know what harm is. We think we know what doing or know means, but I don't know. I don't know what those words mean. I don't know what those words together mean. And I do understand what they mean, but I don't know. And when we think that we know let's take the word harm. We think we know what harm is and what help is. It gets very confusing. And one idea that comes to mind is assisted suicide. I like to think of this because collectively, most people and society itself is afraid of death and wants to propagate. The species wants to survive. And when we have parts of that are not thriving and not surviving, the impulse is for that individual self, right? That say a person is in severe chronic pain. I've had this experience, and you just kind of want to die at that point. You say, this is I just want to come back into myself. I don't want to experience that. I'm done with this cycle, right? It feels natural. And yet, you have this life impulse also that wants to live. And when that is seen, the world is like attached to that life impulse in a way. Like, we keep people alive sometimes against their will because we want them to be alive, or because it's good for the economy, or because it's bad for the economy. There's a lot of different reasons. And it's not necessarily respecting the life force of the individual. And we think we're doing no harm, or people who've lost their minds, for example, they're not able to make decisions for themselves, and you just don't know. Some people might come out of a situation where they'll say, "Oh God, I was lost and now I'm found. Oh God, I was going to commit suicide, jump off a bridge. Someone saved me, and now I've got a new lease on life." And they go on to live a beautiful, rich life for 50 years after that. Some people that's not what they're after at all. It's such an individual case by case thing. And we really don't know what that means. I really can't say. But I don't really know where I started with this. And but it is something that I do think about a lot. So, okay. I forgot.